And here we are. Hello to the wonderful author and publisher, Helen Wu.
Hi, May. Thank you so much for having me. And it's truly an honor to be here to have this interview with you.
Okay, but I feel honored. So let's not waste the whole half hour arguing about who feels honored. Let me be honored today. So this is wonderful, Helen Wu. And we are going to talk about your writing career today, mostly, but you are also an associate publisher for, okay, I'm going to get the pronunciation wrong, Yoo-Hoo Press, which is an American-Chinese collaboration based in San Diego, where I guess you live.
Yeah.
But today, the program is all about you. And I am Mel Rosenberg, and I'm the host of the Children's Literature Channel for the New Books Network. And it's so wonderful to have you on the podcast. So, Helen, a few words about Tofu Takes Time, your book, which is just out now as we speak.
Yeah.
Beaming Books. So you can show all the people who can see the video cast. And for those of you who cannot, you're just going to have to run out and buy the book. So Helen, show us a few spreads from the book.
Yeah, sure. Tofu Takes Time was about a little girl, Ling. She makes tofu from scratch with her grandma, and it was inspired by my own experience of making tofu with my grandma when I was a child. And it's an ode to patience and delayed gratification. And it also supports the mindset that good things take time. And it's a concept that children and families can apply in many areas of life.
It's very beautiful. And you are an illustrator, but you didn't illustrate the book.
Yeah, this book was illustrated by Julie Jarama and will be published by Beaming Books on April 19th. So yeah.
It's just in a couple of days.
Yeah, it is very exciting.
It's extremely exciting. So Helen, tell us all about your life from the very beginning. And you have a very interesting life because you grew up in China and you moved to the States not as a young girl and acclimatized yourself and then went on to have a wonderful career, which you're just starting, and it's great. So start at the beginning.
Yeah, sure. I have been passionate about writing and drawing since I was a kid. However, I never thought it would be a career option when I grew up in China because we didn't have typical children's picture books when I was a kid. We only have those black and white comic books, and picture books was introduced into China about like 20 years ago. So it was still a new thing. And then I studied economics, and after I graduated from University of Georgia with a master's degree in economics, I landed a job in marketing field. So to make attractive marketing materials, I self-taught Photoshop and learned how to do graphic design in Photoshop. And I discovered that someone did digital drawing in Photoshop. I was so amazed, how this application can do so many amazing things. So I started to do digital drawing and put up on online portfolio. And to my surprise, someone came to me and asked if I could illustrate their children's books. So that was the first time I get to know this children's book illustration and publishing. So of course, those books are all self-published, and I gradually illustrated more children's books, and I get to involved in every step of children's book illustration publishing. So I know I got to illustrate the book and do the layout design, cover design, sometimes even involve like a book printing and to communicate with a book printer and to figure out all those parameters or all those things, some details in those steps. So when my son was born in 2014, I was inspired to write and illustrate my own book. So, and since then I wrote and illustrated about 10 books and 20 books that I illustrate for other authors. I realized I wanted more than just a book out there. I want a book that could reach broader audience and could be carried by bookstores and libraries or win some awards. And I realized, okay, the route I took is called self-publishing, and I should go for the route called traditional publishing. So that was in 2018. So yeah, it took me a while to learn about this business and different paths to publishing. So since then, I started to take courses and join critic groups and also attend conferences. So really dive into this traditional publishing industry. So Tofu takes time. The initial draft was done in 2018, and it was on submission, and it was acquired in 2020. So yeah,
well, one second. Mm-hmm. Let's take a time out here. Yeah. And talk about your childhood, because you seem to be a tremendous self-starter. Yeah. It's like nothing you can't learn. Somebody should write a superhero comic about you. Where did this come from? That you have these abilities? You studied economics. What were you like as a little kid? Is this Chinese culture? What is this? Your parents?
Yeah, thank you. Wow. Yeah, when I was a kid, you know, the city and the community I lived in pretty small. So I lived very close to my grandma, like 2 buildings away. And also my grandparents and my home and their home and my elementary school, middle school, high school, and renowned university are all on the same road.
Hold on. Helen, when you say you grew up in a small city in China, I'm thinking only 10 million people.
Oh.
What is a small city? What was the size of your city?
10 million people. I don't think right now it's a capital city. It's called Hefei. It's a capital city of Anhui province. Right now, during the last 20 years, it developed very fast. Now I couldn't call it a small city, but when I was a kid, it's a small city. I don't think it has 10 million people. That's I think less than that. But right now, I don't have the number at this moment.
No, but you know, when you say a small town in America, you could be 300 people.
Oh,
no.
Yeah. No,
not that small.
Yeah. So basically, we live like a very close community, and all my like schools or families and friends, those places are on the same road, and I basically like a 20 minutes walk to all my like families' homes and or my like those schools and the renowned national university also on the same road, basically 20 minutes from my home. So like I almost like could tell what my lifestyle will be in my 30s or 40s. So basically all the lifestyles my friends and families, I can tell it's very, very similar. So I was very curious about the vast world outside, and I always wondering if I could just try a different lifestyle or different paths. So when I was a kid, like achieving higher scores or like to be ranking top of a class, that's kind of like the only option I can do to somehow try a different path until like I went to college in Beijing, and you can study abroad, and that's really you being to the vast world and see all the different options out there. So I think that's kind of like my personality. Like when I was in the major of economics, I discovered this graphic design and this amazing digital drawing and digital graphic design world. I didn't like let my lack of knowledge or background in that area hold me back. I just jump right in and do things I'm really passionate about. And I also think it's really fun to learn those new things. Yeah.
Helen, your passion and your desire to be the best, to what extent do you credit your parents or the culture in China?
Yeah, I think my parents they're very supportive, and they especially my dad, he's always supportive of me, and he always encouraged me to do whatever I love. So yeah, and I also love Chinese culture to be like those traditional, and also have such a long history, and I also feel I need to learn more about Chinese culture. Sometimes there are a lot of like legendary creatures or like historical legends. Sometimes I feel I don't even know that much at all. So sometimes I feel I should have a new perspective to look at the history and look at the culture, and probably have some new interpretation, or maybe create my own story or my interpretation of some tales based on the original or traditional tales. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But you did leave China.
Yeah.
You left China to study economics.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
22. So after I graduated from college. Yeah.
So what did you study in China?
In Renmin University. It's in Beijing. Yeah.
Okay, and what was the subject?
Environmental economics.
Okay, and then so you went from environmental economics and you went to the States by yourself at the age of 22. And I'm guessing your English was not as good as it is today. And you came by yourself. Wow. Yeah. And a completely different culture. And you studied economics, but then you became infatuated with children's literature and digital art and publishing. Wow. There's nothing that you won't do. It's amazing. So what intrigues me is you have this love of Chinese culture, and tofu takes time is almost the opposite of the way people live in America. A couple of words on this, please.
Yeah, since this book was the idea was born of my own experience of making tofu with my grandma. So when I moved to the States and have my own family here, and when I cook and with my own kids aside, and they were sometimes curious about the tools and the process of cooking, and they will complain how long it takes to cook a proper meal. So this all inspired me to weave the topic of patience into the book. So the initial draft was focused on the tofu making process. It's very long, like 750 words. So it's on the complicated step of tofu making. And then my own kids cooking with me and their complaints about how long it takes to cook. So they all inspire me to weave the topic of patience. And also I also feel like I'm the one in my family that needs to be more patient. And like in the dedication of the book, I said to my two kids and who truly taught me patience. So I feel a role as a parent kind of like help me to grow more patient in this regard, and reminds me to find delights in everyday life and activities. So and so I think for patients, it's really for everyone, not only children, but also for adults and the parents. And we all need to be kind of like slow down and to enjoy everyday life and enjoy every moment that we spend with our loved ones. Yeah.
So here's the question. Have you been making tofu at home?
Yeah, yes, that
Oh,
was, yeah.
really?
Yes.
So this story, which was born of you as a young child with your grandma, has now leapt a few generations ahead. And let me tell you why I love your story. I love your story because your story is the story. The story is lyrical and slow-paced, and it's just like the dish that grandma is making. It has this very, very, very patient pace to it. And I love it when a book kind of becomes itself. So I find that Tofu Takes Time is a kind of a dish in its own sense.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm really hopeful that it will become a big success. So the process of writing for you, you start in English?
Yeah, actually, I started in English. Like this one, like Tofu Takes Time. It also takes like a thread from fiber and I mean, yeah. And there were some sentences in the stories, like it takes books from text, from stories and pictures. So I don't even know how to translate it lyrically into Chinese. So yeah, I do start in English, and sometimes I would translate into Chinese simply because I feel the storyline or the structure of the book of the story needs some improvement. So I translate into Chinese to help me to figure out this storyline or the how to improve the structure or solve the plot holes. But I majorly write in English. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I had to go look up people like us who don't always write in our mother tongue are called exophonics. I didn't even know that. But clearly, when you write in a language that's not your mother tongue, there's different areas of your brain. And here you are crisscrossing between the different languages and the different cultures. You're playing all kinds of ping pong, which in your mind, which most writers don't. And that creates a unique, I think, a unique language.
Yeah.
So where did you meet your husband?
In University of Georgia. We both studied there. So yeah.
So that's incredible. So and you both prefer to live in the States, of course.
Yeah.
Where most people do not even take time to scramble eggs. They just order in, right? Or they go to the nearest fast food place.
Yeah, we both cook a lot. Yeah.
That's incredible. So tell me now how you got Beaming Books interested, because Beaming Books is a publisher mostly of belief books, Christian books, and this is anything but a Christian book.
Yeah, they started as a Christian publisher, but in recent several years, they expand their non-Christian books, and they also any kinds of topic that could encourage children and empower children to learn about the world. And they also publish a lot of books have culture background. So in 2020, I submitted this book, I think only to a few two publishers, and Beaming Books was on my list. At that time I had another two books that I both wrote and illustrated that I took a lot of time on submission. I got over 50 rejections on each of them. And still, one of the two still haven't found a home today. But so for this one, I didn't illustrate it since back then I also got I asked some editors and my friends for their advice as an author illustrator. I thought it would be easier to get accepted, but I always get feedback either the editor liked my text, like the story, but not my art style, or they like my art style, but the story doesn't fit their list at the moment. So I was kind of like not sure for Tofu Takes Time whether I should illustrate it at all. I'm fine. I'm the author only, or I'm the author illustrator. I just want to have my book, have a traditional published book. And I love to collaborate with another illustrator because that opens the door of collaboration. And for as an illustrator, you only have one style. So to work with another illustrator, their new style will bring a different feeling and a different layer to the story, and make this book really a surprise to you. So I love that. So for Tofu Takes Time, I didn't illustrate it. I just submit the text. So it took only 1 or 2 months from submission to acquisition. So that was like lightning fast.
One second. And this is without an agent?
Yeah, this is without agent. Back then, they still have Beaming Books still have an open submission policy in 2018, and I also connect with my editor Naomi with a Twitter pitch event. She liked it, so I tweet the pitch one of the Twitter pitch event, and she liked my tweet, and I also connect with her over this. So yeah, I submit to her without agent.
And I mean, it is a lovely book, but you do realize that the chances of what happened to you, like, are 1 in 1,000, 1 in 5,000, 1 in 10,000. And now as a publisher, you see that, right? So
yeah.
You are extremely successful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this book is from submission to acquisition and to production. It was this all goes so smooth. Yeah.
And so you'll be back on the show to talk about your job as a publisher. But how long have you been an associate publisher with Yoo-Hoo Books?
Almost 2 years. I joined. I actually I met Yoo-Hoo team in 2019 at SCBWI conference in Los Angeles. So I joined the team in the end of the year. So they at that time they were looking for someone to take charge of the US division of their publishing house. And my background, like I can speak Mandarin and English, and I have a publishing background in children's book, and I have connections with US authors. All this background fit their criteria very well. So I joined the team in the end of 2019. So here it's almost 2.5 years.
And it wasn't like you were looking for a job as an associate publisher.
Yeah, I wasn't, but I was like submitting to them when I first met the editor, and they're like, we're actually looking for someone to join our team. So I was surprised at that moment.
It's like making tofu for somebody in your house, and then they say, "Oh, Helen, why don't you open our restaurant?"
Yes, it's pretty like that.
So what did you do before that? I'm sure you didn't stay at home raising the children.
I was in a marketing specialist position with a company before that. So I kind of like have some marketing background, and I was also interested in running social media or have those marketing campaigns. And before that job, I was in a position of a graphic designer in an advertising company. So I have this.
So Helen, you just came to them on Monday and you said, "Oh, guys, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen, but I have my dream job and it's been really great."
Yeah, and actually, when I was in the marketing company, they were also in a big structure of like laying off people and kind of like not quite stable. So it's yeah, so that was like I kind of like got a dream job. It's not
by accident.
Yeah, by accident.
You walked into a dream job. So so are you agented now?
Not yet. So still I'm agented.
You're unagented.
Yeah.
And this is kind of funny because at Yahoo Press, agents are now pursuing your interest to publish. It's a funny world.
Yeah. One reason I haven't really actively pursuing to get an agent. One reason that I feel as an author, it's also marketing is also a very important part of the book success. So once I have like 2 books on the pipeline, though that's not many, I still need to have more, but I really should take more time to promote these 2 books. And so which means my time in writing new books might not be the number 1 priority in the next 1 or 2 years. So maybe I will still start to look for an agent maybe in 1 or 2 years. But right now, kind of like the priority is to have these 2 books really well done, and I really should spend a lot of time in promoting and do marketing for these 2 books. Yeah.
And just a sentence on the book that's coming out next year.
Yeah.
Land.
Yeah, it's called Long Goes to Dragon School. It was also inspired by my own experience as an immigrant minority student. It follows a Chinese dragon who struggles to break fire in his new Western Dragon School, and only to discover that he must carve his own path of finding a sense of belonging.
His name is Long, not Land. I got it wrong.
It's Long. Long is also the pronunciation of dragon in Chinese. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's all very exciting. So what I want to ask you now, we still have a few minutes, and I'm intrigued by so many things in your short but very, very exciting and encouraging career, is your transition from the self-publishing to the traditional publishing. I'm on the same journey, not as successful as you are, but you know, what brought you to understand that you need to make this change?
For self-publishing, most of the books are printed in like soft covers. It's print on demand. So which means bookstores and the libraries, they will just simply won't carry books printing in this format. So you have to do like a hardcover, and it's mass production. It's not like print on demand. So that's kind of like the most, I think the thing most differently between self-publishing and the traditional publishing. So that means if you have, if you yourself opens a company, and if you print those books in hardcover and overseas, and or I mean like a traditional publishing book, actually you can be successful in like a traditional publisher, as long as you have those. Of course, it takes time for a traditional publisher to build connections and get in with those bookstores and libraries, but it's possible if the printing format of the book fits the industry standard. Yeah.
Okay, but what about the quality?
Yes, of course, the book quality, the content, you can have those, grammar errors, and for picture books and the illustrations, the quality of the illustrations are also very important, and you need to hire a professional illustrator to do the job, and you also the graphic design, the cover design, layout design all plays an important role in how the final product will be look like. So that means if you are you're self-publishing, your own expertise or your own knowledge in these areas will become the limits, like how great the book will be. So for traditional publisher, they have a professional team of editor, graphic designer, art directors to make sure the quality of the book is great enough to meet the industry standard. But if you do it all on your own, if you are not professional in any of those areas, that means probably the design is not quite good enough, or the illustration quality is not great enough. It will all affect the final the final product. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that you've said what I've been thinking better than I've heard anybody ever describe the difference.
Oh, thank you.
So just for those 2 minutes, it was so worth having you on the show. So Helen, what I'd like you to do is just to read a little bit from your wonderful book, so people get a feel for the prose and the wonder of Tofu Takes Time.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah. Let me choose a page. Nai collects the curds into a special wooden box. I put a heavy stone on the cover. Squeeze, squash, squish. How much longer do I have to wait? I sigh. Nai says, the curds take time to mold into shape, and they take some weight and space. Tick-tock, tick-tock. We wait and wait and wait. Can I have some now? I ask. I'm so hungry. Be patient, Nai says. Tofu takes a bit more time, and it takes books from stories and pictures. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It's lovely. So Helen, this has been a wonderful. Is there anything I haven't asked you that I should ask you?
I think you have already asked so many wonderful questions.
Okay, I have one more before we leave.
Sure.
But I'm going to have you back in a few months, and you're going to have to now wear your publishing hat. Do you have a publishing hat?
Yeah.
You'll have to find a hat.
Oh, yeah, I don't have it right now, but yeah, I will.
Okay, so next time you're on the show, it's going to be another Helen.
Okay.
Helen, the publisher, talking to me, and you will be the first, I think, publisher on my podcast.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
Talking to me about the other side of the street.
Yeah.
You're now on both sides of the street. So we talk to you as the author. So before we depart, I'm going to ask you the question I always ask the authors. You write for 5-year-olds. You write about your journey, your memories, your life, your thoughts, your passion. Why? Why do you write for 5-year-olds?
Yeah, that's really a great question. First, I think children's book really have it's really a special format that that children during young age, they can learn about the world when they struggle on the laps of their parents and grandparents, and it's a magic format to combine artwork and the story, and I think it can perfectly capture a feeling, a place, a time, and the subject, and for young children just simply to learn about this in kind of like a immerse experience. And for me, I also feel I want to write stories that grounded in my own immigrant background and Chinese background, because so for I think my children, their challenges are quite different than me when I was a child. They are facing this challenges how to balance cultural differences, and as an adult, actually, I'm also learning how to balance cultural differences. That I look to stay true to myself and being proud of my heritage, and also find a sense of belonging in the new community. So I hope to write children's books grounded in my personal immigrant background. So hopefully I could unearth some solutions for young readers who might face similar challenges. So that's
So Helen, are you writing? Are these books also written to the 5-year-old Helen back in China?
Yeah, I think so, because that also provides perspective or a glimpse into the world and how
With all of your success
Mhm.
and your ambition
Mhm.
and your passion and your ability to learn anything, anytime, from anywhere,
Mhm.
are you a 5-year-old?
Yeah, that when I was a little kid, I was yeah, I think probably not this much. Just yeah, my parents are just supportive and would love, yeah, they support me to do whatever I love. Sometimes if they kind of like have some courses want me to learn, and I say I don't like that course, it's okay, then you just yeah, don't go, fine.
Yeah, but isn't that against the grain in China, where you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do?
Um, yeah, I know that's kind of like in China or in Chinese culture, you should obey, or I mean, that's kind of like a traditional part, but for my family, it's not like that. So I feel my dad is pretty independent, and then he is he has his own mind, and if he set his mind in some goal, he will just go and achieve that. So I think that affects me a lot. So
But that's not actually traditional Chinese culture.
um yeah, I think it's I mean, for Chinese culture, it's such it just so many content, and there were so many people in the country, and definitely there were people in different characters and characteristic. So I think one important way is to kind of like to understand the culture, and or have like an open mind to see it's, you know, with such a vast land and such so many people, they were definitely going to be somewhat different, and that's
so you think that
normal,
we I almost called myself a Western person, but I live in Israel. We have stereotypes.
Mhm.
So it's okay to live in China and to want to be yourself and to want to express yourself and be different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you certainly taken a unique path
Mhm.
in your life, and I can't wait to see what you're going to be writing in the future. And it was wonderful having you on the podcast, and I can't wait to interview you when you're wearing your second hat as a publisher.
Thank you so much.
And now choosing other stories from thousands of submissions.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, we
No,
were.
it was wonderful. So I'll just say thank you to Helen Wu, remarkable author. Tofu Takes Time is a book that you should not only buy but also cherish. And I wish you great success. And I'm going to speak to you in a couple of months about the publishing side. I can't wait. Maybe we should do it next week. We won't, but we should. And this is Mel Rosenberg for the Children's Literature channel of the New Books Network, signing off. And thanks so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye, Helen.
Bye.
I'm running to make tofu now.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. But maybe someday we will meet and I will sit and you will make tofu.
Yeah, sure.
And I will say, is it ready now? I'm so hungry.
Oh.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.